A very good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Shruti Bajaj. I'm a clinical geneticist attached at NHSRCC Children Hospital. And today we are going to understand what are the various myths and what are the facts about a common condition which we call as Down syndrome. Incidentally, 21st of March is celebrated as World Down Syndrome Day across the globe. Why do we need to have this discussion? Down syndrome is one of the commonest genetic causes of intellectual disabilities. Every year, around 21,000 individuals with Down syndrome are born in India. We realize that lack of medically backed support groups in our country, along with lack of authentic information, especially while conveying the facts to the parents, can be hurdles in patient care. And thus, today we are going to address what are the common misconceptions around this disorder. The onus of dispelling these myths lies on the pediatricians and the physicians who cater to these children. So one of the first myths which I would like to address regarding Down syndrome is that this is a condition which runs in families. However, if one dissects the various methods and the causes of Down syndrome, we would realize that almost 97 to 98% of these cases occur sporadically in nature, whereas just 2 to 3% of them actually occur because of an inheritance from the parents. An important corollary to this would be that even the risk of recurrence of Down syndrome in the next child, so if a couple has one child with Down syndrome, we often see that there's a lot of anxiety about the same recurring in the next pregnancy. Technically, in most of the scenarios, the risk of recurrence is around 1 to 2%. However, in certain scenarios, which you need to discuss with your doctor and an expert, the risk of recurrence could be somewhere between 3 to 15%. Very rarely, it could be around 100%. But in most of the cases, the risk of recurrence is just around 1 to 2%. It also is important that this fact helps us to understand that most of the Down syndrome occurs sporadically in nature. This should help you to clear the blame and the guilt that the family may be harboring and a lot of superstitions which surround as to how did their child get Down syndrome. The second myth is that most of the children with Down syndrome are born to older mothers. Yes, age is a very important factor. As the lady's age advances, the chances that she can bear a child with Down syndrome increases. However, if one sees closely, the fertility of the younger women in the age group of around 20 to 35 is much more than those who are above 40 years, and thus the absolute number of babies who are born to the younger mothers may actually be more than the number of the babies who are born to those above 40 years of age. An important corollary to this fact is that although Down syndrome is commoner in ladies after 35 years of age, even those who are below 35 need to be offered the advantage of screening antenatally for these common aneuploidies. When we speak of aneuploidy screening tools, the traditional ones which we are aware of are the dual marker and the quadruple marker. However, there is an interesting test which is called as non-invasive prenatal screening. This NIPS has a detection rate for Down syndrome which is as high as 99.9%. Of course, like all other screening tools, even NIPS is a screening method, and if a lady tests screen positive on NIPS for Down syndrome, she would then need an invasive test like amniocentesis or CVS to confirm the same. The third myth is that people with Down syndrome have severe cognitive delays, whereas the truth is that most individuals with Down syndrome have cognitive delays that are in the mild to the moderate range. Children with Down syndrome can fully participate in public and private educational programs. There are myths like people with Down syndrome need to get institutionalized. This is also a wrong fact. The truth is that these people can live at homes with their families, active, integrated and responsible. We have a lot of examples of children who perform every other activity which a child without Down syndrome can, right from participating in marathons, taking part in online schooling programs, going to the mall. So, in short, any fact, any idea which stereotypes these individuals is a myth. These people can do anything which you and I can do. So, the fifth myth is that adults with Down syndrome are unemployable. This is also not correct. In fact, businesses and corporate social responsibilities across are now seeking adults with Down syndrome for a variety of positions, be it in the hotel management industry, the aviation industry. In fact, there is an inspiring example of our own, in our own city, a girl known as Aditi Verma, who has set up her cafe in Navi Mumbai. So really there is nothing which can clip their wings, which can tell them that this is something that you can do and this is something that you cannot. The next myth is that people with Down syndrome will not find community support in bringing up their children. This is also not correct. There are multiple support groups across the country. One of them I've had the good fortune of being associated with. It is called as PEHEL, the complete form being Parent Expert Forum for Health and Education in Life. So PEHEL, an initiative in Down syndrome, is a parent support group where we conduct a lot of activities like taking expert talks from across various medical and non-medical specialities, holding fun activities for the families, conducting various health camps. We recently did sleep studies for these children at subsidized rates. So, like us, there are multiple support groups across the country which are mushrooming up and trying to help these families and support them in a better way. So, it is a myth that these families will not find the right social support forum. So, the next myth is that children with Down syndrome must be placed in special segregated educational programs. Often, this is one of the challenges faced by parents of special children, that the typical schools would not necessarily incorporate their children. I would want to highlight here that as per the right to education, inclusive education is now the norm, and any child with any special need should be learning with the other children in a normal setting rather than in a special and an institutional setting. The next myth is that adults with Down syndrome are unable to form close interpersonal relationships. This is also not right. They can form very close bonds. In fact, they are very warm individuals usually. They also like to socialize. In fact, there are examples where these individuals go ahead and even get married. One of the common myths, which would be the second last one that I would address, is that people with Down syndrome are always happy. Yes, they are very loving people usually, but this doesn't mean that they do not get hurt, they do not have other feelings other than happiness. So we have to be sensitive about their emotions when we deal with them, when we talk to them. So the last myth is, which I would want to address, is that people feel that individuals with Down syndrome have a limited lifespan. Yes, maybe this could have been true decades back where the level of medical care was evolving, but as per today's medical healthcare, if these individuals get 360-degree multidisciplinary care, their lifespan can be anywhere around 60 years of age. I would end this small talk by quoting Frank Stephens. He is a famous self-advocate individual having Down syndrome, also an actor and an athlete, and he says that his life is worth living. So I don't think we should be stereotyping these individuals or having myths surrounding them. In fact, if we enlighten ourselves with the right facts, maybe we will be able to support this community in a better way. Thank you so much.